Hey everybody, and thanks for watching. Today I'm going to show you the Carrot Crunching Bunny's own private room. Well, first let's start off with the cages. Each of the cages are 6x3 C&C cages from CaviCages.com, and the link is right over there on the video description. The lofts in the cages are each 2x3 grid lengths, and this is where my personal design comes in. I picked up these mats from Target, which are waterproof door mats, and they were about $6 each, so it was very cheap. And they're great in provision if you have rabbits or guinea pigs because they're very hard to chew through and they're slip proof. And also, if you want to clean them off, all you have to do is shop vac them and everything just sort of falls right off since they're doormats. And also, since the doormats weren't long enough to cover the 3 grids, I improvised by putting 2 grids up against the sides and filling them with Timothy Oxbow hay. I would also like to add that the loft provides a very dark and sheltered environment underneath for your rabbit or guinea pig, which gives them a sense of security, or if they just want to take a rest away from the lights in the morning or night, then this is a great place for them to go. So the loft works as a double feature. Alright, now I'm going to talk about some of the accessories in my cage. Alright, another one of my personal designs is just your average box, which rabbits or guinea pigs use for shelter. And I often find the ones from the pet store or online to be much too small for rabbits. So I actually built one on my own using a 3x1 box, and I cut it in half and made 2 boxes for both rabbits, and then my other rabbit is supplied with these other 2. Okay, let's move on to cat litter boxes. I don't exactly use these for litter pans because my rabbits tend to use them more for beds or a place to eat hay at to keep their hay separate from all of their other litter. And this rabbit uses it as a bed because I put a lot of soft Carefresh in there, and it doesn't get mixed in with all of the pine or anything, so he likes it a lot better. And by the way, this is kiln dried. Each of my rabbits' diets consists of a crock of water because I don't usually like to use water bottles except for a backup water means, because the rabbits are more naturally drinking from below and not having to struggle with a bottle to get the water out. And I do notice my rabbits struggling to get water to come out faster, so that's why I use a crock instead, but they do tend to get a lot dirtier. I also use a light crock dish for my rabbits' pellet feed, and this is Oxbow. And I also use Oxbow orchard grass and Oxbow Timothy hay, which is a necessary staple food in the rabbit's diet. As you may have noticed, I do have a lot of toys in my rabbit's cage, and that means a lot of stimulation and a lot of boredom busters. And I either use dog toys made of soft cotton or more of the chewy kind. And I also have some from online and my local farmer's supply company. Just little tennis balls or maybe toddler toys, ones that are safe. And I also use just cardboard boxes, which you can see rabbits love, or paper towel tubes cut in half, or toilet paper tubes, whatever works. And then also I have larger ones to run through, and they have either scent or flavor. I'm not really sure, but these are called T-Rex tubes. And then, as I've said before, I do have litter pans, and this one happens to be for hay. And this box is very good for chewing on, and I keep hay in there, and it builds a sense of security. It almost looks like a nesting box, though all my rabbits are neutered and spayed. And it just keeps the hay out of the litter. It keeps it separate and clean, so that's a very good thing, and I recommend that. Also, I have wooden chew toys to keep teeth wore down and for boredom busters. So basically, that's a little explanation and overview of all of my toys. Alright, back onto the subject of hidey houses. I do use ones from stores or online, and these igloos, called pigloos on CaviCages.com, are a personal favorite for me because they're easy to clean, they're pretty much chew resistant, and they're very easy for rabbits to get on top of or in and out of, but I only recommend them for smaller rabbits such as Minnie, who was the runt of her litter. And also, back onto my handmade ones. Those are very good because you can customize them more. So if you have any scrap wood laying around or you're very handy yourself, then I recommend making one of those. Okay, now I've given you a little overview of all of my 3 rabbits cages. Now I'm going to show you some of the accessories outside of the cage. Alright, first off, yes, we always have a baby gate up in our room, not only because we have a 3-year-old toddler running around our house, but if a rabbit were to get out, we wouldn't want it to get any farther than the door. So I always keep that up in case of backup. And it is just as tall as the Cavi cage itself, a few inches taller actually, so it's basically a safety harness, a backup. And it makes it so much easier, and it also keeps dogs out. So again, if a rabbit were to get out, no other animal would have access to it. So it's very safe, and it's a very good backup procedure, and I recommend one myself. Alright, another very important accessory in my room is the chair. And the chair serves as a very useful place if I'm watching my rabbits or bonding my rabbits, and I can just sit down and sort of relax so I can have a longer session with them. And they can play more, they'll be able to get out more, and I won't necessarily be in their way, but I'll be able to interact with them. So it's a very useful tool, and I always have one in the room. Alright, I'm lucky enough to have a closet in the rabbit room, but it's very messy at the moment, so I'd prefer not to show you. But what's in there is backup items, water bottles or food, extra food, and brooms, dustpans, anything for cleaning, or basically backup, even holiday items that I'm giving them throughout Christmas. So that's what's in my closet, and I'm very fortunate to have that because it's a major lifesaver. Alright, now on to some of my quicker grab items. And this is basically food. Oxbow Timothy hay and Oxbow orchard grass. And I also have Oxbow rabbit pellets in here. And I have a scoop because for every 5 pounds of rabbit, you're only supposed to give them a 1/4 cup of food. So I've been measuring out that daily. You don't want an overweight bunny. That's very bad, and it'll be very hard to get them back into shape. So that is why I do use a scoop. If you're wondering what's in this cage, I actually have a hermit crab in there right now, and it serves better as that than it would any rabbit cage. This is a rabbit cage where rabbits can run and play and have room for all their accessories. This is a hermit crab cage, which does the same thing, except with crawling and climbing. It does keep very warm. I have sand and it's very moist in there, lots of food and water, and many dishes. And I do have moss, which was from a website, I believe. It's not from outside because you never know if there are any chemicals or pollution in the moss, so never take it from out there. But that is what I use my old store-bought rabbit cage for, and it serves very well. Here is my rabbit carrier. It's very stable and it's very easy to take to the vet. I do have my last name printed on here, but I'd prefer not to show that on YouTube. But it's very easy because I can just unclip this and unclip these all around. I don't have to open the door, let the rabbit out when I take it to the vets. And I just lift the top off, and it has a secure place to sit while it's at the vet, so it's not sliding around the table or anything else. And I have Carefresh lined in there. And I actually have an example to show you. Little Emmy. And it's a very ventilated place, but it's nice and dark, so it keeps it calmer. And it also has a little pull-up latch right here, which I'm not going to open right now because it's being tricky. But where you can keep collars or food or anything like that. It's really neat. And then it has a sturdy handle and 2 latches if you want to pick them up on there. It also has another vent through here. So it's a very ideal rabbit cage, the proper size and everything, and it's very good. And I recommend it on trips to the vet. Alright, if you're wondering how I keep my rabbit room neat, this is the system I use. For cleaning out the cages themselves, I just scoop up any soiled litter and I put it in this bin. Later the bin is either taken to the trash or a yard to recycle. And here is where I put all the papers and plastics, anything else that can be recycled or thrown away. And this cannot be dumped into the yard, so of course it's in a separate bin. So I do have 2 different bins for 2 different purposes that do get cleaned daily because it's the best way to keep your rabbit room clean, and it's the best way to keep your rabbits healthy too.